recording?
We never get.
Good,
I see
good.
that we're recording.
We're recording. Hi, this is Annette, your host for the Survivor Story for the Veterans Chamber of Commerce. We have today Tara Ruby. She is an Army veteran, and I just want to welcome her and thanking her for her courage to speak out and share. So, thank you, Tara, for being here to share your story.
Definitely Air Force veteran.
Oh,
Army
sorry.
spouse.
I knew that. I knew that. Can we cut that out? Okay, go ahead.
It's okay.
So Tara, tell us about your survivor story.
All right. So I am a big military family. Like we can date our military heritage back to like the Civil War. And so my mom joined the Navy, and I actually grew up with my grandparents and really didn't know my mom, didn't really know my dad. I've actually never met my dad. And I only found my dad in my 30s. So I never really had a father figure. So I think that caused, I don't know if that's causing the issue, but that was definitely, I think, as we go through counseling, finding out that that's part of it. Um, Went to actually live with my mom. I got into a lot of trouble my junior year. My grandfather sent me to live with my mom literally on a weekend. So I didn't say goodbye to any of my friends, didn't even unpack my locker at school. So I got dropped in with my mom and moved from Maryland to Texas on a weekend. And then did senior year with my mom, was like, this isn't working out. Joined the military. I literally left to go into basic 2 weeks after I graduated high school. So I never had a spring break, summer break. It just kind of all was super confusing. Was definitely not ready to join the military. Looking back, I should not have done that right away. So I had I'm sure some issues joining the military, but for me, that seemed like the best way to go. And then was in the Air Force for a little over 4 years. Was in a unit that definitely, I had a first sergeant that still was old school belief that women shouldn't be in the military. So I had some really hard times with that. And then actually got discharged from the military. And during my discharge, I realized I had a really good JAG officer, which is the only good person that I can remember in my military career that 100% supported me. And he felt that I was not being treated the way that I should have, and helped me actually do a congressional inquiry. So when I got discharged, I did a congressional inquiry. So they handed me my discharge papers. I handed my congressional inquiry and was like, have a good time. So we've learned a lot from them. It took me I got out when I was 22. I was, I'm going to say like mid 30s before I realized that everything I went through actually falled under something called military sexual trauma. I actually for forever realized, or I didn't realize, that you didn't have to be raped to have sexual trauma, and that there could be a whole list of other things that could have happened. Even if in my small little world, I felt like it was consensual. When you're in a situation where you feel like you don't have a way to say no, that's not consensual. So I've learned a lot over the last few years, and learning how to deal with, I've been married 3 times. So I'm sure that that's part of it. I'm sure my counselor would agree that, this just, certain things just happen. So I think you realize, okay, there was a problem. The last couple years of my life are all explained now. Like, I completely understand. So my counselor said, does your husband now know everything that happened? And I said, no. She said, you should go tell him. So I remember sitting in the car and I was like, I have to tell you something. And so I told him everything that happened. And he's like, well, that explains everything. So I have a husband now who is still military. He is a very dominant man in the military. So we've been working through the fact that I have a problem with control. I have a problem listening to a man telling me what to do, whether it's directly, indirectly. We've learned how to talk to each other, and having that open discussion. And it's hard sometimes to have an open discussion with your spouse, but we're moving through it, working with the VA. I'm a photographer. I work with newborn babies. How better of a job during the day than to work with newborn babies? So I'm having a bad day. I really find peace and calm and everything that comes with that, working behind my camera, because it's what I love to do. And then very recently, we've realized that we like to have a farm. Because let's add one more thing to the pot. So we have pigs and cows and goats and chickens and turkeys and everything that is a farm. And I have found so much, I don't even know what the word is, so much good from being out and working with animals, putting my phone down, walking away from social media, getting away from, especially right now in today's world, all the negative sexual connotations that are on social media, and how something that you see on Facebook can affect you and affect your relationship during the day that you didn't even realize was something that was going to bother you. And so walking away from that and being able to go out and do what I love has been phenomenal. Phenomenal. So I don't like to talk about it. I'm not somebody that wants to sit all day long and tell you every bad thing that's ever happened to me. I really believe, I don't want to say I push it away, but I believe that you need to go out and do things and be physical and go outside and do something that helps you, makes you work, makes you sweat. And you can work through those issues just as hard as in a farm that I would sitting in a counselor's office. And I think that a lot of people think you need to sit and talk to somebody all the time. And I'm pretty sure I've had weird conversations with my goats that would kind of equal out to all of that. So I haven't really wanted to sit and talk about this. And we've talked about it. It's hard for me to sit and talk about it, but I think if I can talk about it, maybe it would help one or two people, then I did okay. And I did what I was supposed to. So
I appreciate that, and also the fact that you are healing in different ways outside with your farm and your goats, and even taking pictures of babies, which are so amazing, by the way. But those are other tools, those are other ways to go through your self healing journey, and I think it's important to share with people about that. So I thank you, Tara, for being on here and sharing your survivor story and for being you. So
yay, thank you.
thank you.